You wake up at 5 a.m. to a phone call no one wants to receive. An inmate has been found unresponsive in his cell, and you are the first person they called. You are the warden, and this is your problem now. Most people picture a prison warden as a powerful figure in charge of everything. What they don't picture is the crushing weight that comes with that power. Before you became a warden, you probably worked your way up through corrections for over a decade. You started as a basic corrections officer, standing guard in units that smelled like bleach and desperation. You earned every promotion through long shifts, dangerous moments, and years of staying when others quit. By the time they handed you the keys to the whole facility, you thought you were ready. You were not ready. The facility you manage holds over 1,000 inmates, each one a separate responsibility. Some of them are serving life sentences with nothing to lose. Some are young, first-time offenders who are terrified and getting swallowed alive by the system. Some have serious mental illness that was never treated before they arrived at your gates. You didn't sentence any of them. You didn't arrest them, prosecute them, or decide their fate. But you are completely responsible for what happens to them while they are in your care. If an inmate is assaulted in their cell tonight, that falls on you. If a guard makes a deadly mistake in the yard tomorrow, that falls on you too. Every injury, every suicide attempt, every escape, it all comes back to the warden. The prison is understaffed, and it has been for years. You have been asking for more officers for 18 months, and the answer is always the same. Budget cuts mean you are running a facility designed for 300 officers with fewer than 200. Your guards are exhausted, working double shifts back to back, and dangerous mistakes happen when people are exhausted. A tired corrections officer makes slower decisions. A slower decision in a prison can mean the difference between a controlled situation and a catastrophe. You know this better than anyone, but knowing it doesn't give you more bodies to fill the empty posts. You spend more time managing paperwork than you do managing people. Every incident requires a report. Every report requires a review. Every review generates more paperwork. On a bad week, you can produce over 300 pages of documentation. The administration above you wants numbers, reduced incidents, reduced costs, reduced complaints. What they don't understand is that a prison is not a spreadsheet. The people inside your walls are human beings in crisis, and human beings in crisis cannot be optimized. The inmates test you constantly, not always with violence, but with something harder to fight. Some of them file grievances every single day, challenging every rule, every decision, every meal served. You have to take every complaint seriously, because the ones you ignore are the ones that become lawsuits, and lawsuits are extraordinarily expensive. A single civil rights lawsuit in a federal prison can cost the institution millions of dollars. Your name will be on every one of those reports. Your decisions will be examined by attorneys who have never spent a single day inside a corrections facility. They will ask you why you didn't do more, armed with perfect hindsight and no understanding of your constraints. Then there are the riots. You have trained for them, planned for them, and hoped you would never see one. The last warden at your facility retired 2 months early after a major disturbance left 3 guards injured and 1 inmate critically hurt. You think about that every time tension starts to build in the yard. You learn to read the signs, the quieter meals, the shift in eye contact, the way inmates stop congregating in their usual groups. When those signs appear, you lose sleep. You increase patrols, hold emergency briefings, and pray that the pressure releases before it explodes. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Your relationship with your staff is one of the most complicated things about this job. You need them to trust you, but you also have to discipline them when they cross the line. An officer who uses excessive force must be reported, investigated, and potentially fired, even if he has been your most reliable guard for 12 years. Your officers know this, and some of them will never fully trust you because of it. There is a culture in corrections that runs deep. Officers protect officers. When you report one of your own, some of your staff will see it as a betrayal. They will pull back from you in ways that are subtle but unmistakable. A colder hallway greeting, a delayed response to your messages, a quiet withdrawal of goodwill. You will feel it every single day, and there is nothing you can do to fix it without compromising the standards that make you effective. The inmates don't trust you either. To them, you represent the system that locked them up, the courts, the police, the laws, all of it. No matter how fair you try to be, no matter how many programs you fund or how many grievances you personally review, you will always be the enemy to someone inside those walls. Some wardens try to build bridges with the inmate population through rehabilitation programs, education initiatives, and job training. You believe in those programs deeply. You have seen them change people. You have watched men who arrived violent and hopeless leave your facility with a trade, a high school diploma, and a chance. But those moments are outnumbered by the other ones, the recidivism statistics, the overcrowding, the system that seems designed to cycle people back through your gates. You can't leave the job at the office. You take it home in the tension behind your eyes and the silence at your dinner table. Your partner has learned to read the signs, the nights you don't speak at dinner, the mornings you wake up already exhausted. Studies show that prison wardens have some of the highest rates of burnout and PTSD of any profession in the country. Corrections officers in general experience depression, anxiety, and substance abuse at rates far above the national average. Divorce rates among corrections staff are nearly double what the rest of the population experiences. For wardens, the isolation is even more acute because unlike line officers, you have no peer group inside the walls. You are the top of the hierarchy, and in a corrections facility, the top can be a very lonely place. Nobody above you truly understands what you face, and nobody below you can speak to you the way a true equal might. You belong to professional organizations, attend conferences, compare notes with other wardens in other states, but even among your peers, there is a reluctance to admit how hard this is, because admitting it can feel like weakness, and wardens are not supposed to show weakness. The pay doesn't match the weight that you carry. The average prison warden in the United States earns somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000 a year depending on the state and the facility. That sounds reasonable until you sit down and calculate the liability you carry, the hours you actually work, and the toll this job takes on your body and your mind over a decade. You are on call every hour of every single day. A major incident at 2 a.m. on Christmas morning is your problem regardless of where you are or what you are doing. When an inmate is released and goes on to commit another crime, some members of the public ask what the warden was doing. When a guard is attacked on your watch, the union asks why you didn't have better safety protocols in place. When the budget runs over, the state legislators ask why you can't do more with less. When a whistleblower comes forward with allegations of mistreatment inside your facility, the media asks what you knew and when you knew it. Everyone wants answers, and you are always standing in front of the microphone. There is also the weight of the moral questions that never fully resolve themselves. Is incarceration actually rehabilitative, or is it simply punitive dressed up in bureaucratic language? You have seen both outcomes with your own eyes, the person who leaves better and the person who leaves worse. You have to make decisions every day about solitary confinement, about security classifications, about which inmates get access to which programs. Each of those decisions has consequences that ripple outward in ways you cannot always predict or control. You accepted this job because you believed in something. You believed in order, in structure, and the idea that a well-run facility could actually make a difference in people's lives. You believed that discipline and care applied consistently could transform even the most broken environments. Some days, you still believe that. You hold on to the inmates who made it, the letters that arrive years later from men who rebuilt their lives. Those letters keep you going. But most mornings when your phone rings before sunrise and you already know it's bad news before you answer, you sit on the edge of your bed in the dark and you wonder how much longer you can carry all of this. The weight accumulates in ways that don't always announce themselves. It shows up in your patience running out faster than it used to. It shows up in the way you have stopped talking about your day with the people you love because you don't know how to explain it without bringing the darkness home with you. It shows up in the quiet moments when you catch your reflection and wonder when you started looking this tired.
Most wardens lost an average of 3 to 5 years in the role before stepping down, transferring to administrative positions, or retiring early. The job is not designed to be sustainable over the long term, and the people who stay the longest often carry the deepest damage. There are wardens who have served for 20 years, and when you meet them, you can see it in their eyes, a particular kind of weariness that has nothing to do with age. Being a prison warden doesn't just take your time, it takes a piece of you every single day. It takes your patience, your optimism, your belief that systems can work if you try hard enough. It takes dinners, birthdays, quiet mornings that you never got to have. It gives you an institution that will replace you without ceremony the moment you are gone, and it never gives any of it back.